Welcome to Gen X Unfiltered, where three Gen Xers dig through the emotional junk drawer of life.
And turn it into an unhinged group chat about everything from pop culture and personal growth to the stuff we never really unpacked.
If you've ever been told to toughen up but outcried in commercials, you're our people.
Hi, it's Kelly. Welcome back to Gen X Unfiltered, the podcast, where we're serving up sibling drama with a side of Lunchables and laugh tracks.
I'm Steve, and let's be honest, if your siblings didn't prank you like Corey or yell, "How rude," at least once, were you even Gen X?
And I'm Eric. Today we're counting down the top 10 TV siblings from the 80s and 90s because nothing says love like stealing the remote.
Guys, we did so good.
I think so.
We're trying new formats, like we said, so the next few podcasts are going to be a little different, but we did well.
It feels so weird introducing my name like that off the
I
right off the top.
I know.
You guys are getting a first-hand look at us practicing different formats.
That's
so
right.
thank you
That's
for,
right.
you know.
Do you ever see that reel from the 80s? It's like this Australian like kids show, and these kids are coming doing a little song and dance. They're introducing their names. They're really over the top and annoying.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I think we just did.
Eric's good at that. He feels like that, yeah.
And, well, you know, we're just trying new things. You know, it's what we do.
Yeah, no,
Right?
I hear it.
Yep.
But like our cool and cheeky and nostalgic intro just told you guys, we are talking about the top 10 TV siblings today.
That's right. So we've done moms, we've done dads, and now we're on to brothers
Siblings.
and sisters.
Oof, the sibling rivalry. I think we've all been there in real life, but the TV version.
That's right.
As per
Different story.
as per usual, we went on the good old internet and ChatGPT popped out a list for us because
Yeah.
there's so many to choose from. So I was curious to
Well,
see.
there's not really any like
no.
other lists of like where you can kind of look at anyone rank these things.
And a lot
So-
of it, and a lot of it's obvious. Like, I mean, I'm sure there is somebody out there, but I don't think there's anybody out there who's done a deep dive and analyzed every sibling relationship and did a whole like rundown and then put it in order. You know what I
No,
mean?
that's what I'm saying, and we just want to pick our own favorites, so we thought it's a little more
It's kind of-
organic this way.
Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of fun because you never really know what ChatGPT is going to give
Well,
you.
it gives you more than we might just pick our favorites that we watch, but this gives us a little more, yeah.
Look
All
how
right.
hip we are using like ChatGPT.
Look,
know,
we
AI.
may be Gen
Yeah.
Xers, but we know how to go with the times.
We're
Yeah.
millennials. We're the bridge gap, they call us, right? We remember
That's
the
right.
old days, and we know the new.
We build bridges.
I just
That's
need to
right.
point out again that only one side of my earphones are working, so it sounds like, you know, when you have a cold and you're stuffed up,
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like. So
Maybe you actually have a cold and you're stuffed up.
no,
you
I'm
just don't
not.
realize it.
Because when I pull this and I push it in really, really tight,
Yeah,
it works both ways, but it doesn't want to stay. So
because it's weird, but I can actually hear it when you.
Oh, I
clicked it
shouldn't
there,
do that
so
because
I'm
maybe-
assuming if we can hear it, maybe they can. I don't know.
sorry. Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Top 10?
Top 10.
All right, number 10. This list is based on, I guess, out of the 10, the least to the best. I don't know. I'm assuming.
Well, it's
Okay.
just the top 10, yeah. It's
We have in the top 10 spot Will and Carlton Banks, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We all know that they weren't technically
I was gonna say,
brothers,
weren't
but
they
they
cousins?
but they
Yeah.
were raised as siblings. Like
Well,
they
they
were
were-
brought as siblings,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So opposites in every way, streetwise versus preppy, chill versus uptight. But when it mattered, they always had each other's back. I would say so.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's the show went on like they really,
Yeah.
it started out very much, they were butted heads and didn't like each other,
Adversaries. Yeah.
but they definitely had a bond and they cared about each other, and it became obvious. Didn't Will have a drug problem at some point or
No,
something?
he didn't have a drug problem. He accidentally. No, Carlton.
Or Carlton
Carlton
did. One of
did.
them did.
Carlton
and-
got high on speed or something like that
Yeah.
because he was going crazy at like a school dance.
No,
Yeah.
but wasn't there something? It was the whole big episode. Like we even watched it at school as like a PSA where Carlton, did he take them accidentally, and Will had been the one to take them from his friend and put them in
Yeah,
or
so
something.
Will had them.
yeah,
Carlton took
yeah,
Carlton,
yeah.
Exactly. It was an accident. Carlton
Yeah.
took him.
That's
he didn't
right.
realize it. He was dancing like a maniac, like
Yeah.
at the school dance, going like in hyperspeed.
Didn't realize why it was.
Didn't realize what was happening, and then he ended up in the hospital.
That's
Was
right.
it caffeine pills like Saved by the Bell? I'm not making fun, but you know,
Well,
it's
that's
funny.
pretty cheesy. So scared.
But yes, I mean, and I think again, just the dynamic was interesting because Carlton was an uptight, preppy kid,
Yeah.
straight A student, and Will was just, not.
Well, and imagine being, what were they, like 16, say,
Yeah.
for lack of a, but imagine being 16 years old, all of a sudden, boom, you have a 17-year-old brother in your house living with you full time that
Well,
you
yeah.
don't really know, and
Yeah.
and he fits into school right away with
yeah,
everybody.
like he's the cool, popular kid and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like that's
it overshadows Carlton in a lot of ways.
yeah, because whereas Carlton, he used his academics and his smarts to
Yeah.
be popular and thought that was his path to
Yeah.
whatever.
Well-
Will came in and was just cool and hip. And
Remember the episode where like they both try out for the basketball team? And
Yeah.
Will's, of course, is like a
Yeah, yeah,
superstar.
yeah, that's right.
And Carlton's getting like, he's really jealous because he's getting
Yeah,
overshadowed.
that's right.
So it's like he ends up stealing the ball off of Will. And then Carlton tries to take like the game winning shot and he airballs it and like,
That's right.
But
yeah.
I think that that's a perfect example because isn't that what siblings are? They're
Yeah.
always competitive. They're always,
Yeah,
fighting
yeah.
for attention.
But I'm saying from having, well,
No,
yeah, there was
yeah.
always the two sisters, obviously,
well,
but like,
yeah,
all of a
but-
sudden, hey,
No,
here's
of
your
course.
cousin.
But no, I think
I
that
can
they,
see getting your nose at a joint.
I think
Yeah.
that they deserve to be on that list. Don't
Yeah.
give
Oh
them
no,
that.
no, they
Oh,
were
for sure.
they were
I
good.
don't-
They were hilarious. Like Freshman was a great show. I loved it.
I
They were
don't
hilarious too. The
think
two of
I
them.
would have thought of them obviously because I would have been thinking too traditionally like actual siblings.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad that they included them.
when I saw Carlton Banks on this list, I thought it was going to be like Carlton and Ashley, but I'm actually glad it's Carlton and Will.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Because
Yeah.
like the other siblings, they didn't have a really great dynamic on the show, to be honest. It was really
Yeah.
how Will interacted with all
All
of
of
them.
them.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
all right, number 9. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yep.
DJ Stephanie and Michelle Tanner, Full House, the ultimate sister squad. How rude. You got it, dude. They were catchphrase queens. Big sister DJ kept it together while Steph and Michelle brought the chaos. I think I've said this in some of our previous ones because Full House has been scattered in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and say that even at the time, but like this show, actually, I just did not like this show. It was so over the top and just so like...
Full House was ultimate, like cheese.
ultimate-
It was
like,
super cheese and like
yeah.
squeaky clean.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because for some reason, maybe it's because the phones are listening, but my TikTok feed all of a sudden has all these old clips from Full House. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
oh, it was.
oh my God, this
it was,
is ridiculous.
Oh, it was all like schlocky and
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Like-
totally like,
and like, Dad, I'm not your little girl anymore. And then Danny's all like it's
all
just so
sullen.
dramatic,
Yeah.
so ridiculous. And then,
But at the
yeah.
time, you liked it, right?
I mean, I watched it, but I wouldn't say it was like my favorite show. But
Oh.
even like now, look, I don't think I could stomach watching it again.
Oh God, no. It
Like,
doesn't hold up at all.
Like some shows
Yeah.
I'd go back and watch for nostalgia, but I
Yeah.
just don't think I could.
I
do
have
that.
no desire to watch old Full House episodes.
no,
When I was
no,
a
No.
kid, I watched it because it was,
what was big
it was
and
popular.
it was,
Yeah. But
And-
yeah, I'd never go back.
The
and watch
over
it.
the top, like how they, and I get why, like it makes sense, but like the
Yeah.
over the top and like making Michelle be this like cute kid was, it was just annoying.
with
They
the
kinda-
one-liners. Oh my God.
Yeah, they kind of lean on that too much.
Oh,
But
yeah.
definitely in terms of the siblings, though, it always felt like DJ was sort of the third fiddle there.
Well,
She always felt like she was the older sort of stick in the mud. Like,
Well, I feel like the beginning of the series when Michelle was like a baby, it
Yeah.
was DJ and Stephanie. But then as DJ got like older into boys and stuff, then it was Stephanie and Michelle for
no,
sure.
it was definitely Stephanie Michelle for sure. Even when
Yeah.
it was DJ and Stephanie was still sort of like, she had that was her like, how rude. That was kind of her.
Oh yeah, that
Her
was
bit?
her
That was like her bit then.
her bit. But yeah,
DJ was always sort of the stick in the mud older sister, she felt like.
well, they were all kind of well, Stephanie had her little like bad girl phase.
Which one
That's
crashed
right.
the car through the kitchen?
Stephanie, that just came up on my TikTok feed.
I forgot about that. That's right. She drove the
Oh, snap.
dad's
Yeah.
car, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Uncle Jesse's, I think.
That was Uncle Jesse's car. I forget.
It was some red car. I don't know. I just saw the clip, but yeah, I mean, they deserve to be on this list because they're like an iconic.
Oh, I mean, that show was huge.
Trio?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's better than if it was Nikki and Alex. Blech.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would definitely, I don't think I would put them, I would switch right already now. I would put Will and
Yeah.
Carlton. I would make DJ Danner in them number 10.
Dana?
Yeah.
I was not I don't know. The three of them were not.
Yeah. They're definitely weaker than Will and Carlton
yeah. Oh, 100%.
as a sibling duo.
Yeah. I mean, I would say siblings, like, again, just because they're not technically, but I would say the dynamic between Joey, Jesse, and Danny was a better sibling dynamic than those kids. They were just annoying.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were almost that same kind of, the three of them. Yeah.
It was like 3 men and 3 little ladies.
That's kind of what it was. Is
Yeah, it
raised like
was.
3 men and a baby, but with 3
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
I think I know we said this before, but and I get like that's how it was supposed to be, but like the Danny Tanner character, ugh, so
No,
annoying.
he was like over the top.
like
Like,
over the top.
Yeah.
like
Squeaky clean.
yeah. Which again we talked about before, which is ironic because Bob Saget was a super dirty comic.
Well,
so
yeah.
it was,
yeah. And one of the interesting things is, sorry, I know we're talking about Full House a lot, but you get on a tangent, is that at least from what I can tell on social media, like the whole entire cast is still very close. They all
It seemed like
they all have like a group chat still. They've like never really lost contact. I know like there's differing like, Jodie Sweetin is a activist, very outspoken about human rights and all that kind of stuff. And then Candace Cameron Bure is a little bit more on the conservative side, who doesn't necessarily agree with all that stuff. But I guess they, they're just
No,
family.
it's nice. And you saw like when Bob Saget passed away, like they all
went to his house. They all showed up.
The way
his
they
house.
talked about him, and like you could,
Yeah.
like there was still like a real bond there. I don't know about the Olsen twins.
No, they are the only because they're the only ones that didn't come back for the reboot. 'Cause that's the thing,
They're also like the wealthiest ones.
Well, they kind of
Yeah.
had their own weird sort
But
of.
this is a big sign of like how tight knit they still are. They all came back for the reboot. Except for the twins.
Was it any good, the reboot? I never
It was
watched
literally the exact same thing.
Was it called Fuller House?
Yeah. Now, like the first few episodes were definitely like, more of all of them were there. And then as it petered out, it was mostly just Stephanie, DJ, and Kimmy Gibbler.
Oh, God.
That's probably who people care about more.
Kimmy
than,
Gibbler.
like the parent,
But-
it's sort of their turn to shine.
Anyway, let's go to number 8 because we talked a lot about a show that I didn't even like.
All right. Yeah. Who's number 8?
Number 8 on this list. Ooh,
Oh.
Brandon and Brenda Walsh, Beverly Hills 90210.
So weird. I would not think of
Minute-
like these two as great siblings, but go on.
You just interrupted my.
Sorry.
Just kidding.
Go on.
Minnesota teens dropped into Beverly Hills drama, sometimes supportive, sometimes way too involved in each other's business, but when push come to shove, they were ride or die. I would disagree with Eric because I would think that they were
shocked
very.
that they're number 8 on this or 7 on this list. I thought they'd be like top 3
No.
potentially. Yeah.
Oh,
Beverly
wow.
Hills, like, okay, but did you actually watch Beverly Hills 90210 properly?
I saw a couple of very special episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Now I
The one where the
watched.
cowboy kid died. I saw that.
I watched it then, and I've watched it numerous times since then.
Yeah.
And even though like Brandon's an annoying character, sorry, don't hate me.
Yeah.
Oh.
They were very good sibling duo. Like
Yeah,
they protected each other, they covered each other, they ratted each other out when they deserved it. They, I just think that they were pretty
Help
good
me out.
duo.
Was Brandon the moral compass of the show?
Brandon, yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
He was like the.
That's kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah, he was like the valedictorian student president, and
Yeah.
his sister was just kind of.
Well, she wasn't like a bad
No,
kid.
she was just an
wasn't
average student.
teenager.
Yeah.
She was just an average
She
teenager.
was fine. Then she met Dylan McKay, and everything changed.
That Dylan, I knew he was no good.
I was a Dylan fan, not a Brandon fan. He's just was an annoying character.
Well, because he was that but he had his own issues and stuff
yeah,
too.
he
Like,
did.
and that was the thing too. Like, it was a little more realistic. Their sibling rivalries and their relationship and the stuff they went through.
It was a different dynamic, right? Because it was male-female twin
That's
relationship.
true too.
So it was a
wasn't,
little
like,
bit of a
all
different.
So far, they've been all girls, or
But they still had all the competition because, again, like, Brandon
Yeah.
just was automatically got good grades and all this stuff. And Brenda was always fighting for the attention to be like, but I'm an actress. And
yeah. She was
know.
more. And that's right. I forgot. She was more into like the school plays and stuff like that. Whereas he was, clearly like.
And then she went to France. And that's when Kelly and Dylan slept together.
Oh.
How does that factor with Brandon? I'm not sure.
don't know,
but-
but I just
But
really
this is
want
the first one too that's not a comedy on this list.
Yeah, I
That's
just
true,
really.
yeah.
That changes things up as well.
I just
Yeah.
really want to watch that show again. Why haven't we done a whole podcast on Beverly Hills 90210? That was peak, like, our age group, like,
no, that was
drama.
This show was huge.
I mean, you
yeah.
drop the first bars of that theme song everybody knows and does the clap, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, even so, like, we were probably, technically speaking, a little young for when it came out.
Probably.
like,
yeah.
Like, you have a sister who was, that was more her.
She was sort of that.
The same age as the characters.
Yeah,
are.
She's a
close
couple
to,
years
yeah,
older, yeah.
yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean, my dad tried to stop me from watching it, but my mom wanted to watch
No
it.
one was stopping little Kelly from watching Brendan, Dylan, and
My mom wanted to watch it. Although looking back at it, I'm like, damn, these kids were supposed to be 16.
no, I know they're like in their 20s and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah, I
what?
know it's always that.
That's always how they do it. And the woman with the glasses, I forget her name on the show.
Gabrielle
Gabrielle
Cartera,
Cartera.
yeah.
She was
Andrea.
a much older than
Andrea.
Andrea.
She was 30.
Like, yeah, she was 30 playing like, a 15-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know. It's funny how they do that.
Yeah.
The only real one, if you watch like Degrassi, those were like legit.
And
Yeah,
now
high school kids.
it's so sad because now they're out of the 8, they're missing 2. R.I.P. Luke Perry and Shannon Doherty.
That's right. 2 of them gone. That's sad. Yeah.
They're in Brenda and Dylan.
That's right. I remember having that big
Afterlife.
freak out in front of the hotel, smashing that flower pot. after
That
his
was really
dad.
sad. They're really sad that they died.
It is really
Oh, yeah.
sad. Yeah.
All right. Let's go on to number 7. Oh, this is an interesting one. Theo, Denise, Vanessa, and Rudy, The Cosby Show. Every sibling dynamic rolled into one household. The rebel, the brain, the brat, the baby. Their sibling energy felt incredibly real and hilariously chaotic. What about Sandra?
That's right, Sandra. That's
Sandra
right.
make
They
the
didn't
list.
mention
She
the
was
list.
never in. Like, she was like never
She
lived
was
in the
around.
house.
She was around like later on, wasn't
But
she? More
'cause she
when
never
Alvin
lived-
was there and stuff. Was
She
that like
never-
later in the
No,
series?
she was mentioned and showed up, but she was right when the show started. She was already in college,
Yeah,
so she
yeah,
was
yeah.
like gone. And
What
then
about Olivia?
well, she wasn't a sibling. She was just
What was she?
she was Denise's stepdaughter.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
right,
right.
yeah.
Well, Step. Yeah, never mind then.
I mean, okay, I guess. I mean, I feel like I haven't rewatched the show in a long time, but I feel like it was like Vanessa and Rudy because they were the youngest, so they were
Yeah.
kind of like the duo of the siblings. Theo was there, but he was a boy, and then like
He was with his boy Cockroach.
but then Denise left the show because she did the spin-off show like in season 2 or something.
That's
She
right.
left.
Different
That's
world,
right,
yeah.
different
And
world,
did a
yeah.
different world. So
Yeah.
to me, the siblings should really just be the Vanessa, Rudy, Theo.
Yeah,
They were
especially,
mostly the-
especially
yeah.
Vanessa and Rudy. They were kind of like the two that got into the most trouble together.
Yeah, Theo was always kind of
Yeah,
doing his own
he
thing.
had his own
like,
trouble.
Yeah,
he was getting
yeah.
into.
Theo was like the typical like bad student, like just getting into mischief.
Yeah, was he dyslexic or something like that?
I think
Coming up
he
the
came
show?
out
I
he
think
was.
He came out
that-
later on. He had a learning
yeah,
disability.
something like- yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Okay, but one of my favorite episodes though was, do you guys, I'm sure
I'm
you
going to say the one I was probably thinking
wait,
of where
let me say first.
Okay.
The episode where he wanted to move out.
yeah, I was
And they faked the whole
That's
like.
right.
Remember, they set up the whole house where it was like they were the landlord and he owed them rent for the house.
Oh,
and
I think
Yeah.
I vaguely remember this.
it was like this whole like I loved
I
when they
remember
did
that. And Bill
episodes like
Cosby's
that.
like, "Oh, now you owe me, here you give him like 1,000." I was like, "Oh, this is great, Dad." He's like, "No, no."
With the Monopoly
and he's
money?
Like,
Yeah.
Now you owe me $500 for rent and this
Yeah.
and that. And
And then wasn't like Rudy or Vanessa like the
Yeah.
cooks in the kitchen or
Some-
something?
yeah.
they
that
were
was-
going back and forth. He was like, "Well, you need money for your car." He's like, "I'll drive a motorcycle." They took a little money back
Yeah, yeah,
from Cosby.
Yeah.
And
That
then,
was a good one.
then Theo had like $10 left over, and he's like, "You gonna have a girlfriend?" He's like, "Of course."
Yeah,
Took the
yeah.
last $10.
that was a good episode.
Yeah, that was a good show. I did
just
enjoy the Cosby Show. I mean, it's
Really wish that show wasn't
Yeah,
tainted now.
well,
Unfortunately,
that's the
it's all
thing.
sullied
it's
now,
all-
but-
But-
back in the day, man, that show was
Yeah.
huge.
I would say that they deserve to be on the list. I don't think they deserve to be number 7. I think Brenda and Brandon were better. Will and Carlton were better than them.
Yeah,
Yeah, because thinking of that show, like I said, I think of them as sort of all their own individual
Yeah.
storylines.
They didn't
not
have a lot
necessarily like
together.
as siblings. Yeah.
All right, number 6.
Here we go,
Keep
6.
bonking my nose on this thing. Hold on, I'm gonna adjust. Sorry. Okay. Corey and Eric Matthews, Boy Meets World. Corey was awkward and heartfelt. Eric was eventually insane. Okay.
That's written weird.
Thanks, ChatGPT.
That's an AI sentence, I think.
But their
hallucinated.
brotherly bond was solid, even with the occasional prank or meltdown. Eric's quote, Feeny. Okay, I don't remember that.
He always said it weird.
Feeny.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
He always
Um,
just say his name like in
I-
weird ways.
I watched Boy Meets World, and obviously, I think it was he's the older brother, the younger brother, the
He's the-
dork,
the
blah blah
cool
blah,
older
the cool older
brother,
brother.
yeah.
But again, I feel like that show they did have their moments, but it was more about Corey and his friends, not Corey and his sibling relationships per se.
Yeah. I remember. I think he kind of became more of a character later on, from what I remember. But
Yeah.
I watched Boy Meets World, but I don't know if I watched it all the time or not. Like I definitely
Yeah.
know the show and stuff, but I don't think I
Yeah.
watched it all of it.
It seemed like Corey and the Ryder Strong character were more brotherly.
Well, they
than-
were like, and I kind of feel like his older brother. I think they're like, oh, he's funny.
Yeah.
The audience likes him. That he kind of started to become more of
Yeah.
like a
Well, because
regular,
Bring him into more
bigger
scenes.
character. I
Will
think.
Friedle's character was like he was the dolty older cool brother.
He
so
was
like
kind of like the
he
Joey
was like
Lawrence
the dumb,
or the
dumb guy.
Yeah, definitely like that sort of style of brother.
I'm just gonna say I think that again they should like the Will Carlton, Brenda they should be lower than him.
Yeah,
these
I
guys.
don't see them being that high up in the list, but
So if I'm not agreeing with this list,
Yeah, I mean
the order at least.
like I think it's just because it's our own perceptions of the show, right? Like the Cosby Show, or not the Cosby Show, but which show were we talking about? It must have been the Cosby Show. We're talking about like when we think of that show, we think of each of them individually,
Cosby
not
Show.
the
together.
Cosby Show, yeah.
Whereas like, Brandon and Brenda, like that was like right from the start, they
It
were
was
like,
about the two of them.
Yeah,
They were
exactly.
the stars of the show. It was about them. Yeah.
all right. So number 5,
Okay.
Mike, Carol, Ben, and Chrissy Seaver. Mike was the rebel, Carol was the brain, Ben was the sidekick, and Chrissy was the comic relief. Sibling archetypes done right. Is that a word?
Archetypes, yes.
Also, Leonardo DiCaprio showed up later as the brooding cousin.
I always forgot what his
Relationship
He
was.
was the
I thought he
cousin.
was
I
just
thought he
a
was like a-
foster kid.
That's what I thought.
swear to God he was as well, but
Yeah.
Look, it's ChatGPT. They ain't always correct.
It
Okay?
That's true,
hallucinated an answer for us.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Again, this is another show where, to me, the show was mostly Mike Seaver and Carol Seaver.
Yeah.
yeah.
What was the other boy's
Ben.
name?
Ben.
Ben was like, not
He
really.
was
He didn't
there,
really have a
but
lot of his own storylines or
Not
anything.
that I remember. He was obviously always in the show,
Yeah.
but as like a secondary character. Yeah, from what I remember, it's always Mike or Carol.
'Cause they hated each
Mostly
other.
Mike.
Yeah, but
He
Mike,
was sort of the
Mike
star.
and Ca-
It was Mike. He was sort of the star of the show. Kirk Cameron.
But Mike and Carol hated each other. So
Well,
that's
yeah.
But I do have to say, from what I remember, some of the episodes when either one of them were in trouble, like the token episode where Carol's boyfriend dies and Mike's the one that
Sandy.
has to tell her.
Matthew Perry.
I mean, he's there for her,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when push comes to shove, you knew they loved each other.
Well, and that's the thing. And I think with all the siblings that we've talked about so far, like they always, you knew that
Bailed each other
they were
out.
all there for each other.
Yeah.
No one was ever like, screw you. Well, you deal with this.
You're going solo, pal.
But
All
I
right.
totally forgot that they had a kid.
Well, yeah, they all
They had
did.
Chrissy, the little
Yeah.
red-haired girl.
It's like Family Ties having our Nikki.
Or bringing in,
What
or
was
even
his
on.
name? Nikki? Was that his name?
I think so. I don't know.
I forget the kid's name. I know, and then, but even like on Full House, they brought in
The twins.
The twins.
Yeah. They all did it. And then Olivia on Cosby Show.
Cosby Show. Yeah, they, even on Full. Or no, we talked about it earlier in the last show, but like not Family Ties, Family Matters.
Yep.
They brought in the little kid. Remember doing
Oh,
the
well,
little.
they always
Oh,
do.
yeah.
They always bring in that little.
Well,
The Simpsons brought in Poochie.
who's
That's
the
right.
boss? Brought in the weird Italian
that
kid.
kid with the little scratchy voice.
Billy.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
little Billy. Hey, don't.
Kids like smoking Camels upstairs or something like
I know.
that. Like,
What's wrong with him?
Wait, hold on a second. Now that I'm thinking about Growing Pains, when Leonardo DiCaprio came, I feel like that's when Ben kind of came to the. Well, also because Mike was obviously he was older,
Yeah.
but Ben, because him and Ben were like buddies. I feel like
I
so
think
that was
yeah, 'cause
more.
that's the problem. Mike, he was already like in high school when the show started, so it's
Yeah.
like at some point it's like,
Yeah.
when does he just become like sad and weird that he's still doing this stuff?
You got to go.
All right, guys, we have to take a quick 2.5 second break to restart the camera. Be right back. All right, we are back. That was quick. We were efficient.
Probably didn't even notice it.
No, you
Hopefully,
didn't.
with the magic of editing.
Bing.
Back.
All right, number 4. I just looked ahead at this list and I'm not too happy, but that's fine. We'll go one by one. Number 4, Tia and Tamara, sister, long lost twins reunited, peak 90s fantasy. Okay, ChatGPT. That's weird.
Odd.
That's a little,
Funny,
yeah.
stylish, and so in sync even when clashing. Real life twins equal double the fun, double the sass. I'm not gonna lie, I've like seen 2 episodes of Sister.
Yeah, I definitely remember the show.
The
But
whole those twins really annoyed me. But wasn't like
yeah, I always
that.
thought they were annoying, and they had the little kid from
Cosby?
Family Matters was on that show too. Wasn't he their brother?
I
No,
don't know. I think it was their actual brother that was.
that's
on
what I
it.
was gonna say. There was another. I think you're right. They had their brother too or something, right?
Yeah, they have a couple
I
brothers.
definitely didn't watch it very much.
I didn't. I mean, they were twins. I'm sure they got into antics. I'm sure they bailed each other out. So, I mean, whatever. I'm sure they were. I just don't have a lot of commentary because I didn't really watch the show.
The same. I wasn't a sister watcher.
I remember the song though. Sister. Wasn't it that?
Oh, I have no clue.
That's
I was
what
like,
you-
I had
That's
no
like
idea.
you made that up right now for the show.
I was like, somebody bailed me
Yeah,
out.
I'm like, I don't
but
know.
they were like dancing in the intro. They were doing all the like.
Were you
90s
looking for a
dance.
lifeline right there?
Yeah,
You're like,
sorry, it's like-
sister, hey.
No.
So anybody?
Yeah, I was like,
No.
no.
They were
I
doing.
don't
They were
know.
doing like the little '90s dance with the colorful background, like sister. Wasn't
Yeah.
like Jack A in it?
She
Okay,
might
let's not
have
talk
been,
about it
again,
anymore
I think
because-
probably
Why don't we move
yeah.
on?
Okay, Eric's like angry. He's like, "Don't- I just bit my tongue. Was that my karma for not knowing my? That hurt.
Ugh, that's the worst bite in your tongue.
Like, how
Yeah.
dumb do you have to be to bite your tongue?
I've done it before. I think
I don't
everyone's
know.
done it.
Yeah.
Usually I'm eating something though, not just talking.
I got too excited. All right. That'll leave a mark. Okay, I would say I'm sure they deserve to be on the list, but number 4, I'm still voting for, out of this list so far, I'm voting that Brenda and Brandon are number 4 over these 2 girls. Anywho, number 3.
Yep.
All right,
3.
yes, number 3.
Here we go.
Kevin and Wayne Arnold, The Wonder Years, the quintessential little brother big jerk relationship. Wayne tortured Kevin, but heaven help anyone else who tried. Their dynamic grew deeper as the series matured. I would say that I think that they deserve to be in the top 3. It was
That's
a
a good
pretty
one.
dynamic sibling relationship.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I would have thought of them, to be honest, but that is actually, no, they were good. I remember, the whole
Because
butthead
Wayne
and
was
stuff
like
that.
a total asshole.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was
a total
he
bully
was-
to
Yeah.
to his brother. Yeah.
But nobody else could bully him. And
No.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sort of thing. And I mean, but Kevin was just as Kevin had his tongue, right? Like he
was more of like
lashing.
a little, be like a little shit to his brother too, and like
Yeah.
trying to be sneaky
Talk
or
back
whatever
and-
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, but no, that actually, I don't think I would have thought of them there. Actually, that's a really good
Especially
sibling.
like okay, so this is gonna be a weird statement. So that show was supposed to be in the 50s, right?
Yeah,
So if it actually was in the 50s,
or
like
60s. Sorry.
okay,
Yeah.
well,
It was
so
like 60s because one brother got killed in
Yeah,
Vietnam.
yeah.
back in the 60s, like let's be real, like I don't know how to say it without like not sounding stupid, but like kids back then were quote unquote allowed to talk super shitty to each other without getting in trouble because that's just the way it was. Does that make sense? Like I feel like in the 60s you wouldn't have gotten in trouble as much if you called your brother, well back then it was like butthead or whatever. Whereas nowadays it's like don't talk to your siblings like that.
I don't know. Actually, I would think it's the
The
exact
opposite?
opposite.
I think we're more
I
strict
would
back
think
then.
it'd
Oh
be
yeah.
way more strict.
See, I
Yeah.
feel like it wouldn't.
No, I think things were way
No,
stricter
because I
back
think you
then.
had all these dads that are, like
World
that
War II
World War
dads.
II dads that didn't take any bullshit.
Didn't take any guff.
Yeah, like-
they wanted the kids to be seen and not heard. So
yeah,
you know.
no, I think.
But
it'd
then
be
I
the
thought that
exact
they-
opposite.
And bickering, no matter what it was, you're
Would be
just
shut
shut
up,
up.
yeah.
But then
Yeah.
I thought they would want their like boys to be like tough and fighters.
Oh, well, I think that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely would want that. Yeah, but I don't think it's like be quiet, don't make a noise. I don't want to hear you arguing.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. I don't
Oh,
think
I
they'd be
don't
like,
know.
oh, cool, yes, call your brother a butthead.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
never know because we didn't live through the 60s.
No, but my impression, at least even from our parents grew up
Yeah.
in that era, that.
All
Yeah.
right, you don't have to beat a dead horse. I'm just saying that was
Okay.
my opinion.
Yeah, no, I just said I think it's the complete opposite. My understanding is
That's
that it's the total
fine.
opposite.
Now, I do have to say my parents loved that show because obviously it was their era.
Well, that's for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like us watching shows now that would take place in the 90s. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
in the
it's
80s.
like
It's
our
like,
era.
oh, that's our jam, man.
We could say like what it was like growing up in that era.
my
Yeah.
parents loved
we
that
did.
show.
Oh yeah, my parents watched that too.
What would I do?
Is it a little Joe Cocker?
if I
The
said-
voiceover by
Daniel
Stern.
Stern.
Daniel
Yeah,
Stern,
it was
yeah.
really. The show was really well done.
I
Yeah.
need to rewatch that show. I don't think I've watched very much of, but I was always rooting for Kevin and Whitney. Winnie.
I watched that show
Winnie.
like
Whitney. Who's Whitney? Yes, Winnie Cooper. Yeah.
my whole family watched that show pretty religiously, but I don't remember how it ended.
That's what I was just trying to think.
So it
Because it
ended.
actually had like a
It was at a
proper
base-
ending.
No,
it was at
hold
a
on.
ball game, wasn't it?
No, hold on. I can tell you. I remember how it ended if you just let me tell you.
Huh?
But I don't know if I really remember. But I don't remember exactly what happened. But the end scene was, remember, it was the parade,
Oh,
and
that's
it was
right.
the
They're like-
narration of
yeah.
everything that happened. And I think the dad died. He had like a heart attack
Oh.
and died.
Okay, yeah. He was
But then
good. The
it
dad
was
did a really good job on it. Dan
But
Laurie,
then
whatever
it was
his name
like I
was.
think like it was the Kevin and Winnie got married and had like it was
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff. And Paul, or was it
Became
Paul
Marilyn
that died?
Manson.
Or, I don't know.
He did.
But anyway, that's what the ending was. It was sort of like I remember it being sad. Now I got to go watch that show.
How about that though? The rumor that Marilyn Manson was the
I
friend
mean,
on
Paul.
They look alike.
No, I know, but how about everyone knew that? I had seen that a few times, like on the internet and stuff like that. How everyone heard that rumor, but this is pre-internet days and all this stuff. So like,
How'd they
how
get
that
around?
got around and stuff like that? It's crazy.
Weird. It's like that weird S everybody drew, but where'd it come from?
Yeah, it's just I was like everyone just heard this.
But were
Yeah.
you
rumor.
guys team Kevin and Winnie?
I guess so.
Guess
Yeah.
so. I don't.
Did you guys have crushes on Winnie?
I don't. No, I don't remember.
She's
to be
like
honest.
really,
She's
really
age- I've seen-
Super
effing
smart.
No, she's effing smart. She has like a
Oh, yeah.
PhD
Yeah,
in
yeah.
like math or
Wasn't she-
something.
Mathematics.
Wasn't she hosting a show or something like science-based show or
Yeah.
something?
Well, she like after this, I mean, I'm sure she was up, but like she never really acted for a long time because she went to school, got
Yeah.
like her friggin'
Yeah.
PhD of mathematician.
What's-
like what?
Mathematics.
What's her name?
yeah.
Danica McKellar.
McKellar.
That is okay.
But yeah, she's super smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Like,
good for her. Yeah,
Like, holy
she looks
crap.
good too. I saw her recently somewhere on like Instagram or somewhere, but she looks
Yeah.
good. Like for I don't know how old she is. She's got to
She's
be
probably like a.
in her 40s,
You know,
late
in her
40s,
mid to late 40s.
Yeah,
probably.
it's like oh wow, she was aged well. She looked like the same.
yeah.
Like I was like oh shit.
All right. Number 2. Okay. What is this bullshit?
Number 2.
Read it. Read it.
Belky and Larry Appleton, perfect strangers. Okay, technically cousins, but they felt like siblings, clashing cultures, clashing personalities, but ultimately found family. Now we are so happy we do the dance of joy. Before you say anything, can I ask one question? Because I know of Perfect Strangers. I did watch it, but not like watched it.
Yeah.
But how are they cousins that share the same last name, which mean they're paternal
They don't,
cousins? Let me just finish my question. I mean, then you can tell me just because I don't want to forget what I'm going to say. But how are they cousins, but like one is like from the other side of the world with a totally different accent and one's American?
Do you want to take this? I think you got the first
No,
part.
I was just gonna say the first part is his last name isn't Appleton, it's Bartokamus.
Okay, but that's
Different last names.
But
Yeah.
how's my question is how are they like first? Are they supposed to be like first cousins or what? Or just cousins?
It doesn't say they're
I was
cousins.
gonna say I don't know if they get
It
that
doesn't say-
specific
yeah.
into like.
But I
They
need to
mention,
know.
They never mention like first, second, third, twice
Yeah.
removed.
So they could be like
they're cousins. They're related, but they have different last names: Balky Bartokamus and Larry Appleton.
yeah.
okay, but so if they don't necessarily aren't first cousins, they could be like fifth cousins. That's why they live all the way across the world from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even first cousin. I mean, just because you have cousins doesn't mean you have to like live in the same neighborhood. Like
No, but
you
it's
know,
not
like,
that they
families
don't.
move apart and stuff like
I
that.
know,
and
but I'm saying the dude. Where's the country he's from? I don't want to get the wrong country.
Meatpost.
Meatpost, yeah.
Okay.
I don't. They never say where it is.
Okay,
It's just
but
somewhere
my
in Europe.
point is, he's from a country in Europe, but I'm just saying it's not like he like he's from there. He has a strong accent, and so I'm just saying first cousins. Like it's very a weird thing.
But if
Unless
he grew up there, what if his dad moved there, like right out of university?
saying it's
high
a
school?
possibility, but I'm just saying unlikely. That's why I was asking about the history of it because I don't know.
Well, I don't think it gets into that
Don't-
much.
Well, they should because people like me ask
no, I know.
questions.
I'm giving you answers, and you're just blowing them off.
I think you gotta suspend your disbelief and
Yeah.
just accept that they're cousins, and then just enjoy the comedy. These two are hilarious.
That
Okay,
was-
but
yeah.
they need to know that people like me need to know details,
Well, watch the opening of the show. It explains the whole freaking thing.
Yeah, exactly.
but
You
it doesn't
see-
explain how
he's
closely
on
related they
he's
are.
on the apple cart making his way
That's
towards
right.
America.
Saying about his whole family and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and you see cousin Larry leaving his like house in the
I
suburbs.
just want to know the family tree, okay?
I told you so. Larry, I don't know. I'm just making it up. Balky's mom moved over to Meatpost and met a man, and he was born there.
I'm sure if you're really interested, there's probably some sort of a Wikipedia
I'm
about
sure
the
there's
whole
some sort of,
backstory
I'm gonna
and,
look it
and
up.
the family tree and how they're connected.
Okay,
Yeah.
that aside for the super stands of the show, like apparently you two were, although
It was
I
a
feel
great
like
show.
I
It was
loved it. I
hilarious.
loved
hold on,
Perfect
let me
Strangers.
ask the question so that the viewers aren't lost. But my question is like, is this number 2 worthy sibling
No,
relationship?
they're not even. Really, I mean, they're
Ooh.
not sibling. I wouldn't
But
put them at
other
number
are
2.
Carlton and Will.
No, I know, but they're not number 2 on this list.
I put them top 5.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, Balky and Larry.
You need to
put them
explain why.
because their dynamic was so hilarious.
Okay, but it has to be more than just being hilarious. Like, were they there for each other?
They're absolutely there for each other. They like they both came to like new situations.
They
So
had like
the-
a love-hate relationship.
yeah.
Very much.
very kind of like a Perfect Strangers, like an odd couple.
Well, that's basically what it
almost.
was. The Odd Couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Well, Eric's not really-
Balky was like a disaster, and Larry, very uptight. And
Yeah,
he'd
Larry
get
was
all-
really uptight,
He'd get all
yeah.
worked up about what Balky was doing, like bringing goats into the apartment or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I want have Belky. I'll take goats in the apartment.
Everyone loves Bronson Pinchot.
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
like-
then, and then at the end of every episode, whatever they were fighting about, it didn't matter. They do the dance of joy, and all was
That's
settled.
right.
Oh, they were the original Dance It Outers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot. I
That's
actually
what-
forgot
that's
to
what
see
the
that. I was
little-
like, oh yeah, I forgot about the Dance of Joy.
The little quote there. Now we're so happy we did the dance of joy.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, Eric was terrible at explaining why they deserve to be number 2 on
I
this
think
list.
I kicked ass at that explanation.
Eric was just a fan of the show, which is fine. Fair enough. I was looking for a little bit more deeper into their relationship, if they were better than a Brenda or Brandon.
I didn't
or...
want to go too deep because you're going to ask for like details that don't
Yeah,
exist.
you're gonna just yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't put it on the list.
Okay.
Or
That's fair
but
enough.
same with Carlton or Will. I don't think they should be on this list either because they're not actually siblings.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So I think there's
But
better
If we're going to
siblings.
get technical,
But Steve, there's lots of families out there that have like, foster kids and stuff. Are they not considered siblings?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not. Anyways,
Oh, no.
Kelly just tried to put me in a shit corner here.
No, I'm not. I was
Yeah,
laughing.
She's
100%
backing you apart in the
Hold
corner
on.
over there.
No kidding. What
Why
the
do
fuck
you
was that?
why do you think I laughed? Because I wasn't expecting you to answer. I was just giving you the like rhetorical
No, it's, of
example.
course, there's all sorts of various definitions of family,
Yes.
but in this, talking about specific siblings,
Fair
I
enough.
wouldn't have Will or Carlton or Larry.
That's fine. This is just a debate. That's all.
Yeah, so I think, no, I love Perfect Stranger. I watch it all the time. That was hilarious. But in terms of this list, I wouldn't put them at number 2, and I probably wouldn't have them on this list.
Fair enough. Well, you don't think they deserve to be number 2? I have no comment because I don't.
I
hardly watch
think
the
top
show.
5.
Oh,
I think
okay.
top 5.
All right then.
Yep.
Number 1.
All right, the big numero uno. Who is it?
Bart, Lisa, and Maggie Simpson, The
Ooh.
Simpsons, the Eternal Siblings, Bart the Chaos Goblin, Lisa the Brainiac, Maggie the Silent Assassin. They've been 10, 8, and a baby for 35 years, and we still love them.
That's not a bad one, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have thought of them as number 1 just because it's a cartoon, so
They
it's sort of
made
weird.
the sibling. I mean, it's obviously Bart and Lisa, right? Like Maggie, yeah, she was there, but it was Bart and Lisa.
Yeah,
was
because
the
Bart and Lisa
duo.
were almost the same age.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it definitely, like, you know, it's definitely the stereotypical brother sister, older brother, younger sister relationship.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
They would
I
bicker and fight, but they loved each other, and
Yeah.
even
I
they.
have a niece and nephew, like the 2-year age gap around this age, and it's
Yeah.
definitely like that.
Oh
like,
yeah,
hate each
they're
other's
best
guts.
friends and their own
Yeah.
their worst enemies at the same
Yeah.
time. It depending on which way the wind blows and who broke the toy or who
Well,
Yeah.
whatever.
You
like
grew up in a sibling where it was like you and a
I have
sister.
an older sister. Yeah,
See, Eric and I both had like he had a brother, I had a sister, so we
Yeah.
didn't have the two different
yeah.
whatever. But I mean, so you could probably sort of relate to that relationship a little.
Yeah,
brother and
actually,
sister.
yeah, totally. I mean, it was a bit opposite because I was younger than my sister, but
Right.
yeah, no, but I mean, yeah, it was different having. We talk about a lot of this stuff, and that's like, well, that's why I like watching like 90210. I was like, yeah, I watched all of it because my sister, we had one TV. She got to pick what to watch, and
Yeah.
we watched all of it. That's why,
I-
like, I was inundated with the New Kids on the Block when I was like 9.
Yeah.
I always say that if I had a brother, I would want it to be an older brother.
Yeah,
Like a protector.
I feel like that's just sort of like the dynamic, right? Like,
Or
I
maybe
mean,
more annoying, I don't know.
if I was an
Yeah,
older
yeah.
sister, well, no, because then he'd have friends that I could have crushes on. It
Oh,
wouldn't
okay,
be
there you
weird.
go.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if I was the older sister who had a younger brother, though, like, I would be way more overprotective than I am of my sister. Does that make sense? I don't even know why. I feel like if I had a younger
Maybe.
brother, I'd just be like, oh, those bitches. Who's that bitch that he's dating? Like, I would just be way more. Whereas, like, my sister, it's like, yeah, you may just be like, whatever, but I wouldn't be that, like, overprotective, like, mom kind of thing. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's weird. I don't know,
Yeah.
obviously. I'm just.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Well, like, if you had.
Oh.
Spit hair in my face.
Well, good.
You're so rude. But like Eric, if your brother was a younger sister, don't you feel like you would just automatically, being the older brother, have that like protectiveness?
Maybe.
Oh, Eric's a dick.
I don't know, but yeah, I was a bad sibling.
Just kidding. But like, I think it just would be like I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
I'm-
not.
Maybe a different dynamic, I guess. If it's a sister instead of a brother, for sure.
Yeah.
I think if it's the same, like two brothers, there's a lot more in common. So there's probably a lot more bickering of a different type.
Oh,
I think.
100%. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
like if like okay, well, Steve, for example, like you and your sister were. I mean, maybe, but I know you weren't. But like you and your sister weren't fighting over like makeup or clothes or like you know
that's
that
the thing.
kind of
The
bullshit.
toys I wanted were the toys she wanted, so it
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, we got a new
Yeah.
like GI Joe toy.
Yeah,
She
or
was
me and
just
my brother
like-
would fight over like the same toy and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
But where you
Word.
guys would fight because she'd be like, "Get away from my friend's like get away from me while I'm hanging out with my friend's loser and shit like that," right? Just like
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you were
that
the
was when we were
younger,
older, yeah.
annoying brother, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just different dynamic.
No,
But-
that's but in terms of like get toys and stuff like that, like my sister didn't care if
No,
I was
exactly.
playing with. I had Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
exactly.
It wasn't rare. She wouldn't be like, I want to play with it now. She'd be playing with her Barbies. She
Yeah.
had a big thing of Barbies and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And she'd be doing her thing. And
So that
Yeah.
takes away a lot of the conflict, though, because like
in
growing up.
some regards, yeah.
Well,
but,
it does,
yeah.
but I'm just saying, like the petty conflict, because like growing
Hey,
up
find
with.
another one of judgment. There's lots of petty shit to argue
yeah.
with.
I know, but I'm saying like I grew up with a sister and we're
Yeah.
like a couple years apart, and it was like constant, just like she stole my shit, she did this, she did that, she did that. Like always, just because I feel like when it's the same siblings, usually the younger ones kind of like trying to be like the older one or
Yeah.
whatever, right? So it's just a weird.
I mean, I think it is sort of this, you do have that same sort of in some way, shape, or form, not necessarily all the exact same,
course,
but
yeah.
it's the same headaches and it's just different shit too, rather than they took this or that. It's like they touched me there, they poked that, they hit this,
well, you
Yeah.
were like a dick. You used to just do things to annoy
well,
her.
when she would do shit to bug me, and that's what siblings do. Got boys,
know how to
girls,
push each
they
other's
know how to-
buttons.
it's
Yeah.
exactly. It doesn't matter, boys, girls, whatever. Yeah.
All right. Well, out of this list, the
Yeah.
list we have, the 10 people, the 10 groups on this list, do you think number one should be the number one?
I'm
Out
good.
of-
I'm good
out
with
of
number
the
one here.
list.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm good with number one.
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah, out of
I
this
think,
list, I would say definitely that's sort of the top one.
because there were some like classic episodes of Bart and Lisa. Like
Yeah.
I'm thinking like specifically like when they play hockey.
Oh yeah, that's a great
Right?
episode.
Like, that's a total
Yeah.
sibling rivalry, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
start swinging my hands like this. And if my sister, I'm sure we did that. I'm gonna start
Yeah.
kicking the air, and if you
Yeah.
get in the way, and then you get
It's
hit,
your own
like,
fault.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I think that Brenda and Brandon should have been a bit higher on that list, but that's
Yeah,
just
but
my
what do you think
opinion.
about Bart, Lisa, and
I
Maggie?
mean,
as
out
number-
of this list, I mean, thinking back, initially I'm like, really, The Simpsons? But thinking back with the episodes, no, like it was a very accurate representation of
yeah,
siblings. I mean, obviously they were in the like 8 and 10-year-old range. It's different, but it's like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
remember that.
I like the fact that they called Bart a chaos goblin.
I
I
know.
know.
It's a
So weird,
strange, yeah.
ChatGPT. You know.
And then, okay, we do have some honorable mentions, which is, these are just really weird, but okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, ChatGPT, but it brings up conversation, right? Beavis and Butthead, technically not siblings, but spiritually. I can honestly
Hard
say
pass on
I
those
have
two.
never watched that show, and I never will because it just makes me want to punch
Really?
the air.
Oh, such a good. Yeah, again, I wouldn't put it because they were just
Yeah.
like buddies, but
I like the show.
I
but
love
yeah.
the show. I love the movie.
Did they even
Yeah.
talk or just?
Oh yeah, no, they
They-
talked all the
they
time.
talk,
It was
yeah.
hilarious. I loved Beavis and
All right.
Butthead, but
Yeah. But
yeah.
they weren't like siblings at all.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
ChatGPT, this is lame. Zach and Kelly's Saved by the Bell siblings, mostly invisible but occasionally mentioned.
What?
What?
They had siblings?
But I mean, even if they did, it literally says they were never there, but they
Yeah,
were mentioned.
that's a real
Okay.
weird stretch. Yeah.
You had a little glitch in your matrix there, ChatGPT. We'll give you that
All right,
one.
what's it got next?
Blossom and Joey.
I'm surprised these guys
Whoa.
weren't on the list.
I don't remember what their relationship was like, though.
Well, he was like the doofy young, older brother, but then there was the other older brother
Anthony.
too, right? Anthony, there's three
but
of
he
them.
was like, I feel like when the show started, he was already old.
Yeah, no, yeah, he was.
So
yeah.
it was mostly the two of them.
Yeah.
But like I watched the show briefly, but I don't remember. Like, was it like a typical sibling relationship?
I don't remember. Well, he
it-
was like dumb, right? Like that
Yeah,
was the whole
yeah.
thing. She was like
Whoa.
super smart and just
Yeah. Okay.
From what I think they just had like a normal relationship. Yeah, like I don't remember anything specific.
I saw a clip with him on Instagram. It was recent. He said the Joey Tribbiani character and Friends was based on his character on Blossom.
Which makes sense
I
because
can
they're
see
kind of
that.
similar.
They're kind of similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Joey had the whoa, and Joey Tribbiani had the like, what you doing? Right? They had their little catchphrase.
Yeah, how you doing?
Or
Yeah.
how you doing? Sorry. Oh my god, I just messed.
I
That
kind of
up.
forgot about Blossom. That was a big show too.
It was 6. Remember her?
Yeah, 6 and yeah. Who else was?
Oh my god, I remember the theme song. I couldn't say, but that little piano riff, and they're like
And
dancing.
she's like dancing with that
Yeah.
stupid hat on. Yeah.
She had their hats. Remember the hats?
Yeah, and then she ended up making a shit ton of money on. What show was that?
Oh
Jeopardy?
no,
No,
Big Bang Theory.
show I
Oh
hate.
yeah.
She's super smart too,
Good for
but
her.
also a little cuckoo.
But this next one's good.
Malcolm and his brothers, Malcolm in the Middle, snuck in from 2000, but so Gen X in spirit. I mean, that was a definite typical brother relationship. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I would actually like put in my resignation if I was that mom. And
Oh,
those are
yeah.
my
And
kids.
she did a
I'd
great
be
job
like,
of being like
"Bye."
just an annoyed, stressed out wife
Oh, yeah.
dealing with those kids
Plus
and
the
the idiot
dad.
husband. Brian
Yeah.
Cranston was great. They're,
Yeah.
they're redoing that show. That's coming
I
back.
don't know. I used to watch that show all the time. Again, the older brother was kind of old when it started, and then he got shipped away to like military school.
That's
so it was
right.
like
I
3 of
forgot.
them.
Yeah.
What was it? It was Malcolm, Reese, and Dewey.
Dewey, yes. And
Oh my God.
Francis
Oh.
was the one in military school,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Dewey.
This is impressive if you remember those
I
names.
Yeah.
mean, I didn't think I watched that show that much, but apparently I did.
No,
'cause I
that was
love
a good. It was almost like a sort of almost like a real life Simpsons almost. Like
Oh yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
They're always in
Bryan
the
Cranston.
throats and fighting and like
And the Bryan Cranston, like the
Was
just
he like the I picture? From what I remember, his character was like the Modern Family dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like home, like just good-hearted but dopey and just
Yeah.
dumb and like just
a lot of high pitched
goofy.
screaming and like, what are you guys doing? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like
And then the
but
mom was just always wanted to just.
She was like at the end of her rope ready to strangle
she just
somebody.
wanted to
She was
smoke
just like,
a cigarette, and drink a glass of wine.
yeah, she just wanted some peace and quiet. Yeah, that's a good one though.
Didn't they
Yeah.
have a baby too in that show?
I think they did. Yeah.
Like later.
I think they had a baby after Dewey.
I feel like they should have been on the list over like some
Yeah,
of the
that's
people
it.
that
That was
were
it,
on.
yeah.
think they
Over
got-
Tia and Tamara.
I think according to ChatGPT, they got kind of bumped because they're 2000s.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's true. Yeah, that's right.
Doogie Howser and Vinny, more best friends but like brothers. I don't know. I watched the show, but I don't remember their relationship.
I
in
don't
that.
feel like
I
they're brothers.
Don't.
They're,
Was
they're,
he
they're
in
buddies.
it all the time? Vinny?
Well, yeah, like he was
Yeah.
just like his best friend, sidekick. But
Yeah.
yeah,
He
that's,
kind of kept them grounded as a kid. That was the whole purpose on the show. Like,
Yeah.
don't forget you're still a kid. We can do kid stuff.
yeah.
I mean, look, Chat GPT has bad days too, and this list was meh. Blossom and Joey Malcolm and his brothers. Those are they should be on an
yeah, the other ones
mention.
like Beavis and Butthead. They're not like again. They're not even. These people aren't even brothers or siblings. Like Doogie
Yeah.
Howser and Vinny. Like they're friends. So it's
Yeah.
if we want to do a best friends combo, then sure you can throw them in the
Ooh,
mix,
do we
right?
do a best
Oh,
friend?
maybe.
list?
Maybe
These are
that's-
fun
yeah.
because
That's
like
a possibility.
they're always. I mean, I hope you guys think they're fun, but they're fun for us because I always forget about these like.
Well, and they go like it's all these different shows of
Yeah.
different eras and different genres. It's really it's good.
But that is our list of the most iconic TV siblings from the 80s and 90s.
Some we loved, some drove us nuts, and some still owe us an apology.
Next week, we're opening the front door and peeking over the fence because it's all about the top TV couples. What I did that.
It doesn't. No, that's the line's wrong.
Top 10 TV couples. What I say?
It should be neighbors.
Because I had it for neighbors and then I changed it to couples, but I forgot to change them.
Because I'm like peeking over the fence is supposed to be a reference to Wilson.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was like. That didn't feel right.
Hold on a second. Next week.
Tim Allen's peeking over the fence. Oh, hello.
What's he doing to Wilson?
Okay,
Oh my God.
Just do this.
I think we should just leave that in. Who cares? It's funnier than us redoing it.
You want us to leave it in?
Yeah, I think it's.
Okay, well, now we stop the whole thing. Okay. We stopped the laughing.
Okay.
Okay. Well, there you go. Look, guys, I told you we're practicing new intros and outros.
Yeah, that intro missed the mark.
It was supposed to be okay. Next week, stay tuned. We're doing top TV couples. Like Eric said, it just didn't really match the other thing, but I
Yeah.
wanted to reiterate that.
And none of these couples are peeking over the fence at each other.
Well, maybe. I mean,
Okay.
who knows what the couples say.
Anyways.
And also, this outro was supposed to be more of a smooth transition to say thank you guys so much for listening. We will catch you in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Take care, everybody. See you next one. We are a hot mess.
Hey, we're real life over here, not polished and,
That's
perfect.
right. Okay. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.